ここで過ごしてもらいたいんだ。
今からってなんでだよ。だいたい親にはどう説明すれば。
Protect your loved one by locking them up in a cold, dark jail cell. Yep, love works in mysterious ways. Welcome to the August Hail. I'm August, and I want to help you find something great to experience. Here on the channel, I review anime visual novels, but for this series, we're going to cover the anime adaptation of Higurashi When They Cry Go. These series of videos will be a review and a reaction to each episode of Higurashi, as well as a comparison regarding the differences between the Higurashi Gou Anime and the original visual novel. If you have not watched episode 8 of Higurashi When They Cry, I would highly suggest watching the episode before continuing with the rest of the video. And if you are looking for my specific videos regarding each episode, links are in the description down below. And with that, let's begin. Events have largely deviated from the original visual novel, and with this being the final episode of the Watamadashi Hen chapter, we are going to take an in-depth analysis into this episode. Rika is now missing, and Satoko throws suspicions at Keiichi for last seeing her. Mion says that she thought Rika was talking with a construction worker when she last saw her. Regardless, the class tries to find Rika. Keiichi tries to check the outhouse but is called by Mion to investigate the roof. With Mion holding the ladder, Keiichi climbs up to check the top of the building, and Mion goes on a little rampage. Luckily, Chie-sensei arrives and Mion calms down. During Keiichi, Mion, and Rena's walk home, Keiichi feels guilty and is about to confess his actions, but he's stopped by the sight of some construction workers. Later that afternoon, he gets a call from Mion to meet up, and they decide to talk more at Mion's home estate. Mion takes Keiichi to her house and shows him the Sonozaki safe house. Mion leads Keiichi to the most secluded part of the safe house and locks him in there, vowing to protect him from the dangers of Hinamizawa. Mion then notices intruders on the cameras and goes out to meet them, gun in hand. Begging at her to stop, Keiichi attempts to follow her but is unsuccessful. After various failed attempts at busting the door down, he falls unconscious. Days later, after recovering from his injury, Oishi meets up with Keiichi to ask him a couple of questions. It is there where Oishi reveals the terrible aftermath. Mion and Satoko were both found dead in the Sonozaki house, Rika was found dead in the septic tank at the school's outhouse, and 3 dead bodies were reported in the underground Sonozaki shelter well: the mayor, Oryo Sonozaki, and Shion Sonozaki. The scene ends with Keiichi in shock, wondering what Mion's intentions truly were. With the end of this episode, there are many questions that are left unanswered, and we are left to figure out who the culprit is in this arc. I've seen many theories about who is the culprit, ranging from Mion succumbing to insanity, to the 2 Sonozaki sisters teaming up behind the scenes, to even Satoko being the mastermind. However, I believe that Shion is the culprit behind this arc. Now I'm going to dive deep into why I think Shion is the culprit, and hopefully you can formulate your own thoughts about who the culprit is in this time loop. Beginning with the school scenes, I believe that the Mion we see here is actually Shion. I think that Shion killed Rika in the outhouse. Satoko here is deeply concerned, even hostile towards Rika's disappearance. Mion, aka Shion, says that Rika was last seen talking to somebody, but doesn't know who. This person is most likely Keiichi. Satoko calls Mion out on this, and Mion deflects to the construction worker. Again, Satoko calls her out on this strange meeting. Regardless of who the Sonozaki sister is in this scene, she will be the last person to see Rika. Satoko confirms that she saw Rika and Keiichi together by the ending of the last episode. However, there is no evidence to prove Sonozaki's case here. Satoko is a smart cookie, so I think that she realized that something was off with Mion's explanation here and went to the Sonozaki residence later that day to confront her about it, making her to be the minion Mion was referring to, only to get killed when she got there. It's probable to kill Rika here based on the timing, along with her motive, thinking Rika is responsible for the annual Watanagashi festival deaths, being a Hinamizawa family head, as well as Mion blocking Keiichi from investigating the outhouse. Rika's murder is very likely to be from Shion, and based on the motive I mentioned prior, it's reasonable to think that she killed Oryo Sonozaki and the mayor. The motive against Rika and the family heads are explained later on in the story, but for you rewatchers and visual novel readers, it should be obvious what the reason is. Another detail that supports this, especially for you rewatchers and visual novel readers, is that Mion is the heir to the Sonozaki family and discredits the fundamental third rule of Hinamizawa, the truth behind the Sonozaki family. Shion doesn't know this and thus believes the rumors. The Mion that gives Keiichi the phone call and calls him out, I believe, is the actual Mion. Based off of her tone, dialogue, and the affectionate behavior towards Keiichi, I strongly believe that Mion's love for Keiichi is high enough to motivate her to keep him safe, going as far as to lock him up. Mion knows the mob mentality of Hinamizawa and how cursed it is. However, as the heir to the Sonozaki family, the top brass family of Hinamizawa, Mion is expected to carry out her duties by punishing the intruders who walked into the sacred storehouse. Mion is against this ideology though, especially so since one of the people involved is the person that she loves, and she plans to end this farce. By posing as the scapegoat, as the person to claim responsibility for all the deaths, while also revealing the real truth behind the Watsunagashi festival incidents, she plans to end the misconception regarding the Oyashiro curse. That is, before her unfortunate death. Throughout the various shots in this episode, we are shown the construction workers who are present in this episode. I believe that these construction workers killed Mion and Satoko. Given the gunshot wounds and the suspicious surveillance, it isn't wrong to think that these people belong to an experienced unit, dedicated to taking people out discreetly. And with that said, it also isn't wrong to assume that these individuals might also be targeting Tomitake and Takano earlier in the arc as they rushed to leave the festival. Given that detail, as well as the fact that this is the second time Tomitake and Takano have disappeared instead of being killed, is a severe departure from the original visual novel, which implies a much deeper mystery in this Hinamizawa than nobody has ever seen before. So what do you guys think of episode 8 of Higurashi Gou? Feel free to agree or disagree with my thoughts about the episode, and let me know what your theories are for what happened during this arc and what you think might happen in the next one. I would love to hear them. And as always, subscribe if you liked the video and want to see more. Please check out some of my other videos on the channel and check back every week for new content. If you are interested in my thoughts, you can follow me on Twitter @TheAugustHale. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.